Hello, everybody. This is Meredith Lego, and my channel is on Ascension science and the expansion of consciousness. And a lot of the content I bring forward is actually channeled messages I receive from extra dimensional and interdimensional consciousness. So in the beginning, I worked with an ascended master and then have started working with a collective consciousness, basically of guides. Um, and and in this particular video, I am going to actually not bring forward something that I've channeled, but I had a viewer ask a question in the comments section on how to do astral projection. So sometimes I will, share in videos that, hey, I saw this through astral projection, or, I might have had an out of body experience. And so I'm going to offer what I know. And I'll have my mental body say here, there's, obviously I'm not an expert, which is self-doubt creeping in, if you will, that I have to work to overcome. But I do have other relatives who are quite skilled in this and are even teaching me. So I'll share with you what I know. So, the first thing is obviously to work on removing self-doubt, fear, and the feelings of unworthiness. So that really is step one. So I think you have to essentially believe that it's possible, and not just believe, but actually know that it's possible. So it's creating that feeling and that frequency within yourself that that it's just as sure as, like, the sky is blue. I can astral project, and that I can go out of body, and you know it to be true. So it's complete claircognizant within the core of your being and the feelings that you have that you can do it, that when I do it, there's not going to, I don't need to fear anything, and that it's possible. Just like it's possible for you to sit up, get up out of a chair and walk, or I don't know, breathe air. So it starts with that. The second thing is to know that your DNA and your consciousness is programmable, and so sometimes when you're creating a new behavior, or a new or learning a new skill, essentially it takes practice. And when you do that, the idea of repetition in that practice is really key. And by doing so, you'll actually create new neural pathways within your brain to actually, like, routinize that skill, that ability, that thought, whatever it is, within your very being. So that's called neuroplasticity. And it's suggested basically that you create a practice or a repetition of doing that for at least 21 days for that sort of neural pathway to really form. Now, I think that the same thing probably is true in learning and doing and experiencing astral projection or out of body. So in this particular case, what I essentially did was simply tell myself out loud to astral project or have an out of body experience. So in other words, I would say astral project now, or out of body now. But the key is that I would do it or say it like 3 times. And at the beginning, I did it for like 21 days straight. So sticking with the rule of, stick with something for 3 to 6 weeks straight. And then, just keep at it, in other words. And I think the other thing that I was taught by a family member who is more skilled in doing this is the best time to do this is when your ego personality is, I guess you could say, less pronounced. And usually that can happen when you're sort of on the verge of sleeping, or let's say if your body's really tired, maybe you sleep for a few hours and then you wake up and you do this. So your consciousness isn't, and therefore your ego isn't quite as pronounced, and your subconsciousness is more sort of malleable, if you will. So The idea of saying, out of body now, or astral project now, if you will, is best to do when you're on the verge of sleep, or maybe, you sleep for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, or something like that, wake up, and then essentially go into a meditation where you're kind of still a little groggy, but you can essentially then, experience that. And again, keep it up for, a period of time. Now, will it happen? It's kind of up to you. I think the important thing is knowing that it can happen. So everybody has the ability to do this, that you're essentially programming yourself to do this. So you're a programmable being. Your DNA is programmable. So you're programming yourself and your consciousness to do this. And the last tip is, and this is probably the hardest, to not hold on to the outcome. So when let's say you're doing it and you're like, oh, it's not happening, that is actually creating a frequency of fear and self-doubt. And so you're holding on to an outcome, and then you're creating a frequency within your field that essentially, will actually keep you from doing that which you want. And that's kind of the paradox, and it's like a mental game, but that's the other thing to overcome, because, you kind of stress yourself out that, I'm not going to be able to do this, but just let go of it. If it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. So that's kind of the last piece of advice. Obviously, when doing something like this, all energy is really never dies, it just transmutes, and all energy is consciousness. And, obviously not all energy is sort of high frequency, so there's different frequencies of energies. So also just know that, and this is kind of what I was advised, as well as what I experienced as I was starting this journey, is, it's always good to keep your frequency high when you're doing this, and, just sort of protect yourself with high frequency fields around yourself. And so you are imagining, maybe you're imagining that or visualizing that you're in a field of sort of high frequency white light. That's okay. Start with that imagination, but it's almost like you're creating a force field around you, or a field around you, to keep your energies high, and sort of block out that which could be sort of a lower frequency energy as well. So that would be the last thing to kind of consider or think about. So when I started this experience, and I knew it would happen, and you kind of like, I had a little fear around this, so naturally I attracted it to myself. But there were experiences of having psychic attacks, essentially, when this journey started, and I knew that that's exactly what they were. I was warned about it, but it's like, I think it's sort of a rite of passage going down this, because it's sort of like defense against the dark arts. So you're essentially, recognizing it for what it is. If you don't go into fear when it's happening, and just know, okay, I see it, I understand what it is, but I'm going to overcome it. And so when I was having psychic attacks, as I was starting to experience out-of-body experiences or astral project, I actually would send love. So that was my sort of way of sort of trying to respond to the shadow, or respond to that which is essentially trying to bring me down, or attack me, if you will. So I actually sent love. So my relatives that have lots of experience with this, think I'm crazy, but because they're more trained to sort of defend themselves in different ways. But but that's my path. So my path is one of more of love and unity. So that's the path that I have taken. So I hope that this helps answer your questions if you are curious about doing astral projection or out-of-body experiences. It's not something I do all of the time, because it's not easy to program yourself on the verge of sleep, because usually I end up falling asleep. So, so it takes a lot of energy to do this. So, I've had my experiences of doing it, and now that I know I can do it, and, I don't always work to continuously do it. So, but if I'm interested in doing something, then, I'll kind of work at it. So hopefully that helps. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any additional questions that maybe I can offer, write them up in the comment section, and perhaps I'll be able to help out. I'm also going to include some names of books that I have also read on the topic, that might be able to provide some, interesting sort of how-tos as well. So please look for those in the comments. Okay, great. Have a nice day, and I will see you in future videos. Thanks. Bye.